Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulallahi wa ala ali wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. The following is an essay I did for my college English 101 class. It's entitled My Journey Toward Arabic Literacy. The first time I heard Arabic, I knew that it was a language I had to learn. The melodious rhythm of the Qur'an's recitation touched something deep within my soul. Then, when I read an English translation of what was being said, I was absolutely astounded. The syntactical prose of the words, combined with the complex simplicity of the meanings they conveyed, made it obvious that this was not the result of human effort. I began my journey toward Arabic literacy armed with sheer determination. I knew what I wanted to learn, but did not yet know how to learn it. My initial inquiries led to what is known as the Medina books, a 3-volume series centered around the curriculum taught at the Islamic University of Medina in Saudi Arabia. Fortunate for me, the facility's masjid has some of the cassette tapes to go along with Book 1. Unfortunately, they only had Book 1 of the series. Armed with these tapes, along with a Handsworth Arabic English dictionary, I dedicated most of my free time to mastering Book 1. Who would have thought that losing one's freedom could lead to the liberation of his free time? Book 1 gave me a basic foundation to build upon. However, I quickly realized that I would need an instructor to advance past Book 2. Since acquiring an instructor was not feasible, I had to get creative. There was no alternative. Giving up was not an option that I allowed to enter my mind. I decided to invest in a bunch of Arabic books, some of which were already translated into the English language. I then purchased the English translations that were available. With these books in my possession, I began an innovative regimen, a regimen that consisted of me translating a passage from one of the Arabic books and then checking the English version to analyze how the author translated that particular passage. I would scrutinize my errors and not move on until I understood what caused them. The book that I gained the most benefit from was an explanation of the classical Arabic grammar book entitled Al-Ajrumiyah. For this project, I had no English translation to compare it with. The way I figured, if it made sense, it was correct, and if not, then there had to be a mistake somewhere. At times, it took several days to comprehend what led to those mistakes. The meticulous nature of this project qualified it as the most challenging task that I had ever embarked upon. In order to fully grasp the concepts of Arabic grammar, I needed to gain a passable understanding of English grammar. So I read everything that I could get my hands on that dealt with English grammar. Then, I would compare between the two languages' rules of grammar. This part of my journey caused me to lose copious amounts of sleep. I would open my Arabic book at night and grasp my pen, notepad balanced on one thigh and dictionary on the other, and lose myself in the task until the sun's rays would penetrate my cell and jolt me out of my trance. After completing the translation of Al-Ajrumiyah, I memorized the entire Arabic text. Every night I would recite it to myself out loud and translate each sentence into English without consulting the written work. A famous scholar once described his struggles with Arabic grammar and what inspired him to persevere. Consider the fact that he struggled, although Arabic was his native tongue. One day, he observed an ant struggling to carry a crumb of bread that was more than twice its size. Burdened by the weight on its back, towing the line of limited ability, it was stumbling about in a desperate attempt to ascend an obstacle in its path. The ant kept falling, dropping the crumb, and then picking it back up to try again. Finally, after many failed attempts, it succeeded in climbing over the obstacle with its meal. It was obvious that I made it over the obstacle when I started translating passages without consulting my dictionary. It was obvious that I made it over the obstacle when I would easily comprehend books that I had previously struggled with. It was obvious that I made it over the obstacle when I had a chance to converse with an educated Arab about advanced grammar concepts. His stamp of approval for my grasp of the language meant more to me than receiving a college degree. Presently, I have translated over a dozen Arabic books into the English language. When I do speak Arabic, I speak with what is known as Fusha, clear pronunciation that demonstrates literacy. I often give lectures in front of audiences of close to 200 people. I deliver these lectures in Arabic and then translate those concepts into English, usually without consulting any notes. Once after the completion of one of these lectures, I was approached by an Arab from Lebanon who asked me what country I was from and where I studied. The look on his face when I explained that I'm black and Latino and born and raised in America was priceless. I told him that a prison cell was my university and dedication was my professor. However, it should not be understood that I am some kind of expert in Arabic language. My unorthodox approach to learning has allowed me to grasp complex issues while struggling with simple concepts. For instance, I struggle to recite the Arabic alphabet in order, but I can easily recite whole books in Arabic from memory. I might struggle with ordering a hamburger in Arabic, which is actually a German word, so it may be a bad example. But I can explain the grammatical breakdown of the sentence when I hear someone order a hamburger in Arabic. I struggle to hold any conversation above a snail's pace, but I can read Arabic almost as fast as I can read English. I've come to learn that the ability to speak a language fluently is a result of actually conversing in that language on a daily basis. In prison, those opportunities rarely arise. Imagine someone who learns the art of boxing from a book. He would be able to articulate exactly what to do in the ring and when to do it. However, when he actually enters a ring and punches a thrown in real time, he will probably forget how much of what he has learned. It is as Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Conversational Arabic often leaves me walking away feeling like I just got punched in the mouth. Then, in a moment of annoying clarity, I recall everything that I was supposed to say but failed to say during the conversation. Nevertheless, the success of my journey lies in the fact that I no longer have to rely on someone else to recite the Quran to me. I can recite it myself. Whether I recite the Arabic from memory or read the written words, I can grasp the meanings enough to accurately translate them into English. I have a long way to go in my journey toward Arabic literacy. At the same time, I am extremely grateful that I made it this far. And all praise and thanks are due to my Lord, the creator of everything in existence. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.